Okay, picture this. You finish up your morning meetings, close your laptop, and step straight out onto a sun-drenched terrace in Madrid. Or maybe it's a quiet coastal cafe down in Valencia. Working remotely from Spain is literally the ultimate dream for so many of us. But let's be totally honest, the second you start looking into how to actually make it happen, you just hit this massive wall of intimidating government jargon and bureaucratic red tape. Honestly, it's enough to make you want to just unpack your bags. But don't worry, because today we are going to completely demystify the Spanish Digital Nomad Visa. Think of this explainer as your clear, step-by-step roadmap to making that dream a reality without getting totally bogged down by the bureaucracy.
To make this super manageable, we're breaking this explainer down into 5 clear buckets. Who actually qualifies, gathering all that paperwork, hitting the financial requirements, bringing your family along, and finally, the application process itself. Let's get right into it.
All right, step 1, who qualifies for it? We need to figure out the basic requirements to work remotely from Spain, just to make sure this visa was actually designed for you. Now, if you read through the official government documents, you're going to see a definition requiring you to work exclusively via computer telematics and telecommunication media. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a 1990s sci-fi movie, right? But let's simplify that jargon. It literally just means your work has to be 100% remote and digital, and you're doing it for an employer or clients located entirely outside of Spain. Basically, if you can do your entire job from a laptop with a decent Wi-Fi connection, you are definitely on the right track.
But here is where it gets really interesting. There is a strict contrast in the rules depending on exactly how you're employed. If you're a traditional employee on a payroll, you need explicit written consent from your foreign employer stating that they allow you to perform your job remotely, specifically from Spain. However, if you're a freelancer or self-employed, the rules actually shift. You are allowed to take on Spanish clients or work for a Spanish company, but, and this is a pretty big but, that local work absolutely cannot exceed 20% of your total professional activity.
So the Spanish government is essentially using this visa to attract highly skilled professionals, which means you've got to prove your expertise. And you have 2 options here. You either need an undergraduate or postgraduate degree from what they consider a prestigious university, college, or business school. Or, if you don't have the degree, no problem. You just need to show at least 3 years of relevant work experience in your current field. It's a simple either-or situation, which is fantastic because it acknowledges that real-world experience is just as valuable as a diploma.
Okay, moving on to step 2, gathering your paperwork. Let's break down this bureaucratic checklist. I know, nobody loves paperwork, but chunking this specific checklist is literally your direct ticket to Spain.
We'll kick things off with the standard administrative basics. You're going to need the national visa application form, a recent passport-sized photo, make sure it's against a white background, proof of residence in your current consular district, like a recent utility bill, and of course your visa fee payment. But please pay super close attention to the passport requirement. Your passport has to be valid for at least 1 full year and have 2 blank pages. And crucially, if your passport was issued more than 10 years ago, even if it's still technically valid, Spain will not accept it. Seriously, go check your issue date today.
Next up is the heavier proof. You absolutely need a criminal record check from any country you've lived in over the past 2 years, and it must be valid for 6 months and properly apostilled. Actually, here's a really fascinating detail from the source material. If you happen to be an Indian applicant, you specifically need an apostilled police clearance certificate directly from the regional passport office, plus a sworn Spanish translation. Everyone applying will also need comprehensive health insurance authorized to operate in Spain, your NIE number, which is just your Spanish foreigner ID number, and a certificate from the Mercantile Register proving when your company was created.
Then we have your work docs. You've got to provide a certificate showing you've been working for your foreign company or working as a freelancer for at least 3 months right before applying. Proving your active work status and your tax obligations is totally non-negotiable here. For traditional employees, your company must prove they are registered with Social Security. For freelancers, you have to show evidence of affiliation to the Spanish self-employed workers regime. They call it RITA, or you provide a responsible declaration committing to comply with those obligations before you actually start working. Before we jump to the next section, I want to drop a massive potential time saver for you. You might not actually have to register for Spanish Social Security right away. If your home country has a bilateral Social Security agreement with Spain, you can just get a certificate of coverage from your home country. This essentially lets you import your rights and stay under your home country's Social Security system temporarily. You should absolutely check if your country's on that list.
Step 3, the financial requirements. Let's talk money.
Because while the Spanish government is thrilled to have you, they need absolute assurance you can support yourself over there.
So the magic number here is 200%. The main applicant has to prove a monthly income of at least 200% of the Spanish national minimum wage. That is the ultimate baseline threshold to prove you're a fully self-sufficient digital nomad.
But what if you aren't flying solo? Well, if you bring a first family member, like a spouse, you need to prove an additional 75% of the Spanish minimum wage, right on top of your 200%. And for every single family member you add after that, like your kids, you'll need to show an extra 25% per person.
Now, how do you actually prove you hit those percentages? The consulate is actually pretty flexible here. You can use official work contracts that explicitly state your salary, recent bank statements showing steady, reliable deposits, or your official payslips. You really just need to paint a clear, well-documented picture of your financial stability.
Which probably has you wondering, especially after crunching those financial minimums, can your family actually tag along on this adventure?
That brings us to step 4, bringing your family along. Let's see who else gets the ticket to Spain.
The short answer is a resounding yes. You do not have to leave your loved ones behind. The visa allows you to bring your spouse or your registered unmarried partner and your dependent children. But take a look at that third point, dependent relatives in the ascending line. To translate that dense bureaucratic term into natural English, it just means dependent parents. If you actively care for your parents or your partner's parents, and they form part of your financial family unit, they can get a ticket to Spain too.
And this brilliantly illustrates a pretty recurring theme. With more people comes more paperwork. Just like your criminal record check, these foreign family documents, things like birth certificates, marriage certificates, proof of financial dependence for adult kids, or proof of care for older relatives, all of it must be officially legalized. They need to be apostilled and submitted right alongside an official translation into Spanish. It is definitely a little extra legwork, but keeping your whole family unit together is absolutely worth it. Finally, step 5, the application process, crossing the finish line. You've gathered the documents, you've hit those financial markers, and this is the exciting final countdown to your relocation. The actual physical steps are incredibly straightforward. Step 1, you just book an appointment online at your local BLS International Visa Application Center. Step 2, you or your accredited representative submit everything in person. And step 3, this is honestly the best part. You just wait. The legal waiting period for the consulate to reach a decision is surprisingly fast, literally just 10 days from the day after you submit. Sure, they might extend it if they need to call you in for a quick interview or if you're missing a document, but 10 days is an unbelievably swift turnaround for a residency visa.
Now, we do have to look at the safety nets, just in case things don't go perfectly on the very first try. If your visa is refused, it is not game over. First off, you will always get a written notification detailing the exact grounds for the refusal. If you disagree with it, or if you can just quickly fix the issue, you have 1 month to submit an appeal for reconsideration directly to the consular office. If that somehow fails, you even have the option to file an application for judicial review with the High Court of Justice in Madrid within 2 months, so you absolutely have legal recourse.
But hey, let's assume total success. You get your passport back, and there's that beautiful new visa sticker right inside. Your visa is going to be valid for a maximum of 1 year. And here is a totally fantastic, positive realization to wrap this up. Obtaining a physical residence permit card, or TIE, once you actually arrive in Spain, is completely voluntary for that first year. The visa in your passport is proof enough of your legal residency. You can literally walk off the plane, drop your bags, and go straight to the beach without rushing off to a police station.
So we've unpacked all the rules, decoded the crazy jargon, and structured the paperwork into a clear, totally actionable path. The Spanish government has essentially opened the front door for skilled remote workers, and the roadmap is right there in front of you. The only real question left to answer is this: are you ready to trade your home office for a brand new life in Spain? Start gathering those documents today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.